Welcome to our series, Work Happy. This is a series dedicated to helping you be happier at work, to recognize your gifts, and to also invite you into some small shifts that we can make to be more fulfilled, confident, and happy at work. This is 9 in 9 Enneagram Wisdom for Life. Let's dive in. Recently, I was reading an article from Business Insider, and it talked about a recent study that Indeed, which is a global platform for job searching and recruitment, they have a huge database of information on employee engagement and satisfaction. I was reading an article that Indeed had partnered with Oxford University because Oxford specializes in studying workplace well being. So they worked together and they created a workplace well-being score. And what they found was companies that had a higher workplace well-being score outperformed other companies with lower scores in the global market, in the stock market. So companies like H&R Block, Delta Airlines, Nike, their scores were higher and therefore they were getting better stock returns, making more money, outperforming other companies in the stock market. They were beating the averages basically. So what's the point here? Well, the point here is that well being at work matters not to just you as an employee or an owner, but it matters to the success of your business, down to literally the dollar. In a recent Gallup study, they discovered that 1 in 5 people in the workplace are really struggling. They are not thriving. They are experiencing burnout, dissatisfaction, and turnover. The cost isn't just emotional, it's also economic. And so I invite you to engage in this podcast series, Work Happy, whether you are employed, whether you are an owner, a manager, wherever you are in the workplace, this series is going to matter because not only are we going to talk about your Enneagram number, but we're going to talk about the number of your coworkers. But understanding the motivation and blind spots and the way that people bring gifts to the workplace and the opportunities to grow, this is simply going to help you be happier at work. So recently, I sat down with people of all Enneagram types, and we had a conversation about everything from parenting to doing life as their number. And we also talked about work. And so, for this series, what I want to do is highlight just a couple of elements in the conversation, really bring those forward. And I also want to point out one area where you're invited to make a shift, to shift maybe a habit or a perspective that will help you be more productive and happier in your workplace. So, we're going to talk about gifts and shifts. And so, I'm going to use conversations from people just like you, people that are in the workplace every day. These conversations are with school administrators, those who have worked in corporate offices and owned their own business, an executive director, and an artist and musician. So, truly, the full spectrum of work. We have had the conversation. In fact, right now, I want you to meet some of the amazing people that I had these conversations with. Take a look at this little sneak peek from our conversations around work.
My blind spots as a 3 are, I have to always slow down. I can't go as fast as I want to. I have to remember that I'm bringing people along with me. You can't turn a ship in, 2 days' notice. You can't wear your staff out because you had an idea at 4 a.m. in the morning, like you have to scaffold for that. And just that you have to have some perspective on all the people who have opinions and thoughts and notes for you, you know, that sometimes they're coming from a good place and sometimes they're not. And the way to value those in response to the heart out of which they originate.
Self-awareness, first of all, and just recognizing that this sort of need and desire to be independent probably can get to an unhealthy level. So it's good to be around other people. It's good to need other people. And I think just being in situations where I have had to rely on others, it kind of builds that muscle a little bit.
But really, the one that I struggle with again is the being honest and standing up for yourself. And a lot of times there are several people who have the same view as you, but nobody really says it. Nobody goes forward and tries to make a change. And that's what I think nines can do very well. They can be very diplomatic, they can figure out how to say it just so to every person and make things better or get what they want um, accomplished.
Maybe all ones see the world very binary, like there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And however, as I've, like I said, learned and grown and understood my number and myself better, I have seen times where, like, sometimes being right isn't the ultimate goal, and sometimes I think I'm right and I'm not. So, hearing everyone's voice together, collaborating together, there could be multiple ways to get the same outcome. And, it still feels a little weird to say there's different right ways, but
I have done a professional audit recently of all the work I do and like scales and grades and numbers of what does it demand of me emotionally? What does it demand mentally? What does it make financially? Because I can't always be tapping into those places. It's just too draining for me.
Yeah, especially with a family at home to go
Right.
to every night if
Right.
you spent all that emotion at work
Mm-hmm.
without protecting some of it, then I mean, because you're not able to turn it off. So then you're going to go home and like
It's way too much.
I don't ever feel like people think I should have done more because I've always put 100% in. I don't, not to brag, but I'm not one of those people that's going to sit back and go, well, they can do it.
right.
I won't. I mean, even if they need help, I'm going to jump in, even if it's. So really, it's all about, again, loyalty to the company. So yeah, I want that project to succeed, but I want it. What's even better is I was a part of it and I helped it succeed.
I didn't like when my manager wanted to tell me what to do when. I wanted autonomy and I wanted to work the way I work efficiently. So if I was working on something and my manager wanted to just call and be like, what are you doing? Where are you? What do you have planned for your day? It was like, this is a waste of my time. Get out of the way and let me do my thing. And so, yeah, I don't, it's like there's some stubbornness of like, I want to work on what I want to work on when I want to work on it.
I have a lot of lists. I take longer because I'm running through all the things, checking and double checking. So I think the fear comes through in self-doubt and it slows me down. I think all the time about, in a job interview, the question like, what are you not good at? Or what are your challenges or whatever? It would definitely be like moving quickly because I need the time to look at everything from all the different angles.
As an 8, one thing that really stands out to me just in my work history is that I love to work under a strong leader. And I can play second fiddle to anyone who leads well and be completely happy. It gets really difficult when I feel like I'm in a job that's where I'm being led by somebody who's incompetent or who just doesn't work hard. That's very difficult for me to sit under that. And I'm sure it's difficult for anyone to sit under that. But my tendency is to, either lead or get out of the way. It's kind of the mantra. Like, if you're not going to lead, then move over.
Yeah. These are really important conversations, and I want to make sure you don't miss any of them. So please hit the subscribe button below, follow along, and I hope you'll join me for each episode for numbers 1 through 9 as we share their gifts in the workplace and also the invitation to shift.